It is easy to take for granted. Most people today in the American West can turn on a tap and water comes out. It is also easy to forget that many of the places we have chosen to build cities are arid environments. Modern Americans are not the first to do this. Humans have chosen to build in dry environments for millennia. Witness the ruins of those who came before, the ancestral pueblos. What often goes unexamined are the more intimate stories of the small family farmers. The following is a brief history of the Long family and their connection to water in Boulder, Colorado. Catherine Long Gates' grandfather, J.D. Long, began a seed mail order business in 1905. The business grew into a farm by 1916. Catherine's father, Everett, or Ev Long, eventually took over the operation. In the 1940s, Ev went looking for a place to build an irrigation dam to create a constantly reliable source of water. He found the site sitting over 11,000 feet above sea level. Following the end of World War II, he completed his dam and created Skyscraper Reservoir. In 2015, we sat down with Catherine to learn about her family, the farm, the dam, and their relationship with water.
My early memories are kind of really like a lot of kids probably that were fortunate enough to live near any kind of ditch or creek or anything, any waterway. So when I was little, we still had open ditches that our water came for irrigation, and one of them was right through our front yard. That water wasn't just there to play in, that it was actually not only going for our fields, but it was going to the people that were downstream from us. And I think there was so much more awareness early on about how dry it was here and how little vegetation there was until people could establish irrigation ditches and have diversions.
Ev Long, like many Westerners before him, understood that one way to get around the aridity, at least temporarily, was to build. So he did. Constructing a masonry dam in the upper reaches of the Rocky Mountains came with significant challenges. There were no roads to haul up the heavy machinery.
Dad would always say that the dam was 5 miles beyond what anybody would consider a road, but they had to cut through and make road, and it started out with a little bit less road because they were actually hauling things with horses, pack horses. My dad was not a great fan of horses. He was much more of a mechanical sort of person, and so really he changed things from the horses to looking for what mechanical devices would help. And after World War II, when he really could get concentrating on the construction, he thought that the Army Weasel, which was a track vehicle, would be good, and it would have, except it didn't handle the slopes very well, and the track came off.
Oh my gosh.
So, it was his main idea was to try and have a vehicle that could take in supplies. The Weasel served its purpose once it got up there with helping with things, but he was able to purchase a 1947 Dodge Power Wagon with a winch, and that was the thing that really not only helped haul things up, but helped there because they could use the winch and have a hoist and use some of that for their power.
Ev finished the dam in the late 1940s. But by the 50s, he began focusing his farming on less water-consumptive crops, like the drought-resistant iris. This decision enabled Ev to sell the dam and reservoir to the city of Boulder in 1967. When Catherine Long Gates took over, she continued the work of her father. Today, she centers her commercial growing operation on the bearded iris, a hardy, drought-tolerant flower.
And so by the time I took over the business, we were pretty much growing just irises, and that's what we've continued. It's definitely influenced by the water. We don't want to use any more water than is necessary. It's sort of silly to grow a crop that is a high water requirement. What we enjoy and what other people enjoy about our farm here in the middle of the city is it is open and kind of gives people a bit of relief from all our densification and everything. So
Recently, Catherine has endeavored to make Long's Gardens a public space. Surrounded by the sprawling growth of Boulder on all sides, the farm has become an urban oasis. She leases part of her property to Growing Gardens, a nonprofit organization dedicated to sustainable urban agriculture and educational outreach. Recently, the Mountain Flower Goat Dairy also began leasing space on the farm. While Long's Gardens has certainly changed over the decades, Catherine is quick to remind us water remains at the center of everything.
I thought it was pretty good.
Okay, we'll live with that. I think that was good enough. This shouldn't be the, super time-consuming part.